Hi, welcome to this tutorial today. What I'm going to show you how to do is play sounds based on the environment material that you have set. So if you have a grass texture or a dirt texture or mud texture, those are the examples I'm using in this video. You will be able to play a sound. This is supposed to represent mud, this is supposed to represent grass, and this is supposed to represent dirt. So each one that I line trace or hit will play a different sound. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is commonly used for things like footsteps, guns, etc. Okay, so with that said, alright, so before we get into the actual code, I just want to let you know what the assets I'm working with here are. I've got a dirt, grass, and mud interaction sound, and I've got a colored material. This is just a base color. That's all I'm doing. It's a parameter, and I've made material instances of it and just changed the color. So, with that said, the first thing we want to do is we want to go into the project settings. If you don't know how to do that, just go to Edit, Project Settings, go down to Physics. It'll be under Engine. Scroll down until you see Physics. Scroll down here even further, and you are going to see this Physical Surface tab here. Okay, so by default, Unreal Engine comes with a physical surface. They just call it default, and we're going to make some more. Okay, so I'm going to make one called grass. I'm going to make one called mud. And I'm going to make one called dirt. You can use whichever names you want. It doesn't really matter. In my own projects, I have things like flesh and whatnot for blood. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our physical materials, and we're going to create them. I've already got a folder here called Physical Mats. You'll probably want to create a folder. And we're going to right-click in the content browser, and we're going to go down to Physics. We're going to click on Physical Material. We're going to click this right here. We're going to click Select. I'm going to call this PM Grass. Okay, and once you get in here, you'll see all this stuff. All you really need to worry about is go down to Physical Properties, under Surface Type, switch from default to the one you just named in the project settings, right here. So right here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make two more for this example. We're going to call this Mud, and then Dirt. Okay, and for each new one you add, you just go in here and choose the correct name that lines up with what you're going to represent it with. Okay, so we've got our physical materials made. Now what we need to do is we need to go to the actual materials that our objects will have. So in this case, I have these colors, and each one represents a different thing. I've named them up here. So we're going to go to Phys Material under General on the material instance, or material parents have the same thing. And I'm going to type in dirt. There we go. I'm going to do the rest for the other ones. Grass. And this is very important. If you don't set these up, it won't work. So make sure you set those up. Alright, so we've got grass, dirt, and mud. Now, whenever I hit these things with a line trace, they will be able to do sound effects. However, they're not going to do it just yet because we need to add code now. Okay, so I've got a right mouse button input set up in my third-person character. You'll do this in whatever your character, or wherever you really want to spawn. You can do components, characters, whatever. It's up to you. I'm going to do it in the character. And I've got a right mouse button input. You can use whatever input you want. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a start location. If you already have a camera, you can just follow this. Otherwise, you'll probably want to set up your own map. So I'm getting the camera, and then I'm getting its forward vector. Okay, and what it's going to do is in the direction we look at, it will shoot out a line trace. We're going to multiply it to a float. We're going to set this to like 50,000 so it shoots out far. This is the distance, so if you set this to something low, it'll shoot out close to you. If you shoot something really far, it'll shoot out really far. Okay, so now we're going to add these two together, and we're going to do a line trace by channel. Alright, I'm going to plug the plus node into the end and the get world location of the camera into the start. I'm going to put this on pressed. We're going to get a return value, and we're just going to do branch, so that way it only executes code if it hits. This prevents things like performance pitfalls or null pointer errors. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to drag off the out hit. We are going to type in break hit result. Okay, and before we do anything else, what we need to do is we need to go to our variables, and the reason we're doing it this way is it will clean up your event graph, and it'll be easier to manage if you start adding more physical materials. So we're going to go to our variables. We are going to, I'm going to reset this to a bool so it looks like exactly what you have. I'm going to name this environment sound effects. There we go. And under the variable type, you're going to want to type in physical surface. Okay, this is a thing that comes with Unreal Engine. Epic's already made it for you, and it's built into, and it works with the project settings and physical materials. So just use that one. And then next to this pill where the drop down arrow is, we're going to choose map. And if you don't know what a map is, don't worry, they're not that complex. Basically what they do is they allow you to use a, in this case, a surface that we hit, and then assign a value to it. So I'm going to use a sound base. If you want spatialization, use a sound cue. I'm using a sound base because I don't have any cues set up. Okay, so click the plus, and then go to the second one. If you use default as the first and you try to add a new map, it'll give you a little error. So just do the second one. And then I'm going to do grass walking, mud walking, and finally dirt walking. There we go. And if you want to make it work with any surface that you didn't assign a material to, you'll just use the default. Unreal Engine will recognize that. I'm going to go ahead and delete that because we don't need it. Okay, so now that we have that, we're just going to do a play sound. We're going to go back to the event graph. I'm going to do a play sound. I'm using play sound 2D. You can use at world or play sound at location. Up to you. I'm using play sound 2D. So now that we have that, we're going to get this break hit result and off the fizz mat. We're going to come off of that. We're going to do get surface type. And if you remember, we set a physical surface inside the map, and so we're going to get that. So we're going to come off here. We're going to get the environment sound effects. We're going to use a node called find. Make sure you drag off of the tmap so that you have a context-sensitive menu. So we're going to do find. We're going to drag the surface type into default. Plug the blue one, which is a sound base, into the play sound. And now we are good to go. We should be good to go. So if I play this, you can hear grass, and then dirt, and mud. And if we click here, nothing will play because we didn't set anything. So if you want to add more, just click this plus and make sure you go through the project settings and then the physical material and that those are in there, and you'll see it in here. It'll be added into here. I am not adding any more, so they won't show up. But yeah, so that's basically it. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like. I have a Discord if you need support, and have a good one.